Whoa!
Ooh, welcome back, everybody. We just made it to Irithyll Dungeon, which is going to be some of y'all's least favorite areas in the game. It certainly houses my least favorite enemy, which I mentioned last time, and we're about to come up one in just a second. But before that, check these cells, and don't freak out about some of these corpses, because they'd like to do that. Some of them, however, do attack. Ow. But now that we got our new fire sword, they flail about whenever they get caught on fire, making them open to follow-up attacks. So this weapon's going to be very good here. And right there's my most hated enemy. Check each cell, because I always forget some of them are locked. Some of them, however, are not. That one, I don't think there's anything in here. Nope. Okay. You saw that gentleman wandering to the left here. He's still there. And let me explain them, because they're tricky. When they see you, when you cross their line of vision, they will blow into their lantern and it will turn red. As long as they are looking at you with the red lantern, not only does your health go down, your maximum health goes down. Then they like to run up on you and hit you with the smoldering iron in their hands, which staggers you momentously, allowing them to follow up with an attack that, given your low maximum health, is almost guaranteed to kill you, making these guys extremely annoying. And what's more annoying is when you kill one, you can simply wait and your maximum health will return to normal, but your actual health does not. So, for example, if your maximum health goes down by like 2/3 and then uh, fills all the way back up again, your health is still just a third of what it should be. So they vicariously deal a ton of damage. Luckily, they go down quickly. So if you know where they are, which I'm going to show you, and you're quick, it's not so bad. And be careful with any of these because there are these cages, and if you step forward, he tries to push you out. So just take care of him. Tries to push you off the sledge. You can feel free to open up any of the cages, cells. Although I don't think this one has anything. Nope. Be careful around here, though, because there's another jailer, as they're called, right there. And there's a second one wandering back and forth that you can kind of see moving. There he goes. And be even extra careful because in the cell here are some more hollows. Luckily we can just run, hit this guy 3 times, and then turn around. But you want to stick to the corner here because there is another one patrolling the walkway and you don't want him to see you. Keep in mind that those hollows can vomit up maggots. And just remember, I don't have it equipped because it rarely happens, but you can use your torch to get rid of the maggots if you get infected. And if you don't, then your bleed bar will just slowly build up for an excruciatingly long time. So much so that unless you have crazy bleed resistance, it'll fill up completely twice over. Okay, so with them gone, let's go ahead and take care of this guy. We're not going to go all the way across the walkway, but let's go ahead and take care of him. So we'll just patiently wait for him to approach. And you can run up on him, or you can wait for him to turn around and get the backstab in. He saw me. Okay. So we're actually going to continue down. Don't think there's anything in here. All the way to this item. And another screech. And we're actually going to open this later. And then come back around over here. And over here is tricky because there's a staircase, and in the very corner here is another jailer. Luckily, you can get the drop on him. Past that are several of these cage enemies from earlier. Luckily, your sword tears through them. Ow. Stop. Even more unfortunate is that this is locked. Come out to the right for an item, but be careful of the enemy right here. Who's got one of the giant maggot beasts that spring out and try to grab you. Get the item. Come along the opposite side. This is also locked. None of those cages attack. But be wary of the enemy right there, who will also try to burst forth and grab you. All of these enemies can potentially get up. Oh, not that one, I guess. Thought that one could. Nope. Alright. But he houses the old sorcerer garb. So if you move forward, you got nothing. But if you move forward again, you've got a large maggot beast behind a cage. So be ready. Maybe heal up. Be ready with that torch. And open up the cage. And go a-stabbing. Because they really freak out when they catch fire, and you get the great magic shield. There we go. No more maggots. And no more secrets on this side of the jail area. So let's go back up these steps, and now we're going to go across that walkway. On the other side of the walkway, you're going to hear some weird sounds. And at the end of the hallway on the right is another jailer. And since he's so far away, you have to make a mad dash. Which you might have seen if you were watching my health bar. It started to decrease. If you walk forward, you got some enemies. 3 hollows. And a large titanite shard. And there my health comes back. Inside here, you have another enemy. And a hole in the wall on the left that leads to one of the creatures making so much noise. And an item. Now this one is actually passive, but you can kill him anyway for some free souls. And open up this door. Which then lets you open up this door that we could not open from the other side. And then I don't remember if there's anything even down here. There is, so come down to open up the cage. Grab this. Ah, yes, you want that. And now let's come back and let's tackle this other staircase. Where there are not 1, but 3 jailers. So be very careful. There's one directly underneath us that we can drop down on. And then rush to the corner so that you break line of sight with the other jailers. And wait for things to kind of die down. Because the one in the far corner will have seen you. Or not the far corner, close corner. Nearby. That one. So let's get rid of him. And then get rid of the other one. So you be very careful when they try to stab you with the smoldering iron. You basically just freeze in place. So you might want to kill this one and then backtrack a little. Maybe even wait for your max health to return as it's doing now. And see, my regular health does not return with it, so they effectively took away like almost half my health without actually touching me. It's extremely annoying. You can kill this guy who is aggressive. In order to get a simple gem. And this cage is active. So let's take care of him. On the right, oop, almost forgot about the second one. On the right's going to be a locked door, and on the left is going to be a crystal lizard that will quickly start to escape. And furthermore, there's an enemy waiting on the left to pounce at you. So my recommendation is to just sprint as fast as you can at that crystal lizard, and you should kind of, if you stick to the right of the walkway here, you should be able to dodge the enemy and catch up to the crystal lizard. But you gotta run for quite a ways. He's a quick one. So once you're close enough to lock on, sprint towards him. There's the one. Oh, and we chased it into the... Oh no, I'm not gonna get it. Oh, I got... Oh. Darn. We'll come back for him later if you miss him. But that was the enemy that sprints out at you. And then we can also open up this gate to take care of this guy. This is completely optional, of course, but again, I was like pointing out easy souls. And now we're actually not going to go through this pathway, which is where we're supposed to go. What we're gonna do is backtrack quite a ways up these stairs. Take a left through the door we opened, take a right down the bridge, and take a left to the locked barred window at the end of this particular walkway. And we can open it with the jailbreaker's key we found, which we want to do and drop down because this lets us get, there it is, an item that we can't get otherwise, which we need for the achievements. So make sure you grab that, and there's a new type of hollow sitting on the ground right there that you can drop on. And keep your shield up because there are two to the right, one of which shoots you with the crossbow. Ow. But they go down quickly. Unfortunately, they also hit hard. Put them down, do a slight bit of backtracking for an item. On the right. Be careful though. Let's heal up. Continue on the forward path to find a chest on the right. Actually, a mimic. So get ready to start swinging at it. Dodge out of the way of its grab attack, and then stick close. When he goes down, he drops an Estus shard, and then continue forward into a room with many, many hollows. So we're going to try to draw them out one at a time here, or in small groups. See, they're baiting me to go towards them, but there's several more around the corner. So let them come to you. Let's drink up. It's the crossbow ones you want to worry about. There should be 2 more. Plus a third in the back there. This one has 2 weapons actually and can hit quite hard and quick. But they fall just as easily. And so now you got options. You can climb down this ladder here. You can drop down any one of these little holes. The one that we're going to opt for is all the way at the end, mainly because there's also an item down there. Drop down here. When you drop down, you're in a room with a giant. Do not drop down towards him. We'll take care of him soon enough. Instead, go forward from where you drop down towards this wooden platform and this item, but be careful of the rats around the corner. Head around the corner to take care of them. But be very careful, it's very easy to get knocked off right here, and you don't want that. Take care of them. If you can get them all in one swing like that, then consider yourself lucky. And as you move forward, more rats will come from the right. Keep your distance on them. They like to be aggressive in packs. Alright, come up. Let's grab this. You might hear a telltale sound as you maneuver down this way. And as you get here, you get 2 chests. One of which, the one on the left, is a mimic. So you can barely see it moving. And close. So when you approach the non-booby-trapped one and open it for the old cell key, a bevy of basilisks comes pouring out. So be very careful about these gentlemen. Hit a couple of them and then sprint away. And then work your way back. And just keep kind of patrolling up and down this walkway so that you're never standing in the curse for too long. Until they're all gone. What you really want to avoid is getting surrounded, because then you can get stuck. And that's a bad time. You might want to heal up for this one because this is a different kind of mimic that crawls on all 4s and can leap at you and basically eat you whole from quite a distance. So these are much more treacherous. They like to spit and everything, to the point where it might be better to just pepper them from afar. I don't like to use spells on the tall ones that walk on 2 legs, because since they're so thin, it's easy for you to miss. But with those, it's perfect. And he drops another one of the much needed rings. And that's actually a good one for us. So, with them out of the way, we're going to head down that pathway that the rats came out of. To find not 1, but 2 giant rats on the left. So don't go sprinting in. Try to pull them one at a time. And your new fire sword works wonders. And they were guarding a couple of dung pie. That's lovely. And we can open up into what might be my least favorite room. Because as you can see, there are several of these jailers patrolling around this middle column here in a circle. There's 3 going this way, and I think there's either 2 or 3 more coming up in the other direction. From the other direction. And they all can gang up with their special ability. So as such, I like to just... Actually, here. What we'll do is we'll take care of them later. Stick to the left to grab this item, because there's a shortcut back to the bonfire. Let's do that first. Come this way and grab this item for a dragon torso stone. And remember this location. We're going to come back here to access a hidden area later. And, excuse me. Activate the elevator. And as it's climbing up, you want to jump off this wooden platform right here to grab a miracle, the lightning blade. Drop down straight in front of you. Right, lever, or lever, whatever. Pull the lever. Bring the elevator back down. Now climb back up. Item here. Door here. And now we're back to the double walkway with the bridge area. There's the 3 jailers. This is the same walkway that had the crystal lizard on it. So you can use this opportunity to go up the stairs back to the bonfire on the other side. Or we can push on, because we're almost done. But that shortcut's definitely going to be useful soon. Alright, back to room with the jailers. So to do this, I take a brute force approach where I just run in, accept the fact that my max health is going to be obliterated, and just start peppering them with chaos fed vestiges. Try to get them before they get close to you. They're easily dealt with, even with the reduce in max health. As long as they don't touch you, they'll never reduce your max health to 0. They'll reduce it to close to 0, but never 0. So, as long as they don't get close to you, then it doesn't matter that they see you. Okay. With them all out of the way, we can start to loot the area, which in the corner here, behind these, is Alva's armor. In the middle here, I think it's something very, very nice. Ah, just an ember. That's pretty nice. I like to then, go down this way. Or no, better idea. Let's go around this room with all the shrieking. This room has several of these strange looking, I don't even know what to call them. They're called like Dragonites or something that you can get rid of. Some are passive, but others are hostile. And they're easy to take down, but they can gang up quite efficiently, so do not take them for granted. They like to vomit on you too. They swing with these little swords. The one to watch out for is they can shriek at you and send like a shockwave. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it's a ranged attack, so it can catch you off guard. And we got the profaned pole, which, if I recall correctly, is the last one. So if you've been following me thus far, first of all, thank you. Secondly, there's another guy right here. I believe we have enough to get an achievement. Do we have all of the gems? There's 15 in total, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4? What's the one we're missing? Oh, right, we're missing Chaos, which we already used, so we don't have to worry about that one. Great. Open up this. And on the right is another, excuse me, left. Get my rights and lefts correct. On the left is another mimic. This one, I believe, was a bipedal one. So just swing at it until it wakes up fully. Dodge out of the way because it likes to start with a grab attack. It almost always starts with one of those. And then bait it back out into the main room to get you some space. Ooh. And take it down. For 2 Titanite scales. Continue past where he was. And on the left is another cell. Luckily, there's no enemies in here to speak of, but there is Xanthus ashes. And a shrieky guy with a dust crown ring. Across from all of that is an item. And you might notice that across around the corner here is the very last jailer. So let's take care of him. Or her. Or it. Wait for my max health to come back up. And in here is a cell with a ghoul. Now, I'm going to take him down because I'm just showcasing everything this game has to offer for the most part. But there are no items in here, so this is completely optional. But it's easy enough, and you get 550 souls and an ember. And now you can choose to ignore this part because over here I just want to show an NPC that's going to be very helpful to us. But unfortunately it's locked. So with all that, go towards the archway across from the side we came from. This is, the other side is where the elevator was. Over here, let's fill up on Ashen Estus. And we discover a new area. One more enemy, and then we will be at the bonfire. Slowly walk across the bridge to the profaned capital, and we will be attacked by a gargoyle, who can be taken care of any way you choose, but just be careful for that reason. He charges with his spear, hits like a truck, and likes to jump up and come crashing down, which is hard to guard against. And he'll hold his wing up as a shield once he takes enough damage. Just keep your shield up. Shoot a fireball at him when you get the chance, and he'll go down. At the end of this little area is some souls. And now we can cross that bridge and get into this tower proper. You can either use the ladder or just drop down here. You don't take any fall damage. And straight ahead is another ladder. Climb all the way up to find a friend of ours from Dark Souls 2 who gives us an undead bone shard and the stretch out gesture. 2 very good things. 1 required for all achievements. And we get a bonfire. So let's light that up, rest, and let's take a trip back to Firelink Shrine. Alright, we need to stop at a lot of places. So let's just work our way around, give Umbral Ash, sell anything we want. So that would be this, and the dung pies. Ooh, that's bad. That's very, very bad. Oh well. I meant to just sell 2 of them. Try to make sure you keep yours. Hopefully that won't come back to bite me. Let's sell my Titanite scales. Any extra gems I have. And we can sell this shriving stone. I think we want to keep everything else. Yes. Yes, I do. And now, let's see what else we got. You can talk to Yuria if you want some extra dialogue. Grey Rat has nothing to say right now.
I presume wonderful. With the spouse, thy lordship, Oh Lord, I prithee, when the moment the aid of the gods on our Lord.
When she tells you to play the role of the usurper, that is how you know you have unlocked the most difficult of endings to achieve. That's why I like to go for that one first. And because it's good to get the free levels out of drawing out your true strength with Yol anyway when you're early in the game. A note about Grey Rat is you can send him off to pillage one more time over the course of the game. I forget what the trigger is because you never want to send him on his 3rd pillage. He always succeeds the first one. He only succeeds the second one if you have completed Sigward's storyline, and he never completes the 3rd one. So if you want to keep Grey Rat alive, never send him on this 3rd pillage. And I don't think I have any more things to give. Except for the Profane Colony. These 3 that we've been holding on to, these tomes, they have to be given to that NPC that I just pointed out in the jail cell. So now, let's take this opportunity to get our achievements. Give Cole.
No words. This is much yet, but your father could.
Reinforce our Estus Flask. And this one I like to put on Ashen. So we have 8 and 5. I think we just had the one, right? Yeah. And now we can infuse weapons with every type. So what I like to do is just go through one at a time and infuse things with every single gem at least once. The only one that I want to point out is for this particular build, if you're following along with my build along with the locations of everything, I like to make it so that you have 2 weapons. You have a Chaos Fire Sword, and you have a Dark Sword for the enemies that are resistant to fire. And my favorites are the Broadsword for Chaos and the Longsword for Dark. So I would just suggest not deep, but dark on a longsword. And if you don't have a longsword, remember I got mine as a drop from some enemy, then Grey Rats can sell you one for 1,000 souls. So if you don't have a longsword, get one from Grey Rat.
Goodbye.
Come back over here. Enchant it with dark, not deep. The difference being, let me pull it up here. Deep adds dark damage but gets rid of all scaling. Dark adds dark damage but adds both intelligence and faith scaling, which is what a pyromancer wants, given that they increase faith and intelligence equally. So make yourself a dark longsword. And the rest you can just put anywhere. So we need a heavy. Can't do this one because it's already enchanted. Unless you use a shriving stone, but why bother? We have all these other weapons you can use. Do sharp. Do a refined broken straight sword. Do raw. Crystal. Simple. Fire. Lightning. Blessed. And you have to do the infusion yourself. Just because we found a blessed mail breaker doesn't count for the achievement. You have to actually apply the blessed infusion yourself with Andre. Same for deep. We had a deep battle axe down here, but that doesn't count towards the achievement. So blood. Poison. Why would I not want to do that? Okay, sure. And last but not least, hollow. Hollow is a weird one that scales with our luck. And you have to do this on the first playthrough. Normally I would suggest waiting until the second or third playthrough when you don't need souls quite as much. But the you would have to go through and find all the coals again. Hey, there we go. You'd have to go through and find all the coals again, and on the second and third playthrough, we're going to do more of a, not necessarily speed run, but, you know, we're just going to make it very straightforward. We're not going to try to get every item. I like to make the first playthrough the 100% get every item playthrough, because then you get the maximum amount of souls. The more killing you do, the more souls you get. And so by the time we get to the final boss, we'll be over-leveled than we would be normally. And as such, this is the playthrough we're going to get all the coals, not the other ones. So to save us the hassle of having to get all the coals more than once, go ahead and do it now, even though it costs quite a pretty penny in souls. Alright, and so with all of that, actually, the only reason I've been keeping all my weapons is so that I made sure I had enough to get that achievement. None of these weapons we're going to use outside of the Dark Longsword, the Chaos Broadsword, and occasionally... oh, that's in this area. Occasionally the Light Crossbow, and of course the Pyromancy Flame. You might want to consider hanging on to a Talisman if you're casting any miracles, or a Staff if you're casting any sorceries. I will not be doing so. In fact, I will not be casting anything other than Chaos Sped Vestiges, Great Chaos Fire Orb, and a particularly potent Dark Spell, again, for the fire-resistant enemies. I do, however, recommend keeping most of the shields, because they have different damage absorptions, which are good against different bosses. Same for the armor. They have different resistances, so depending on what boss you're about to fight, we might be switching up the armor. With all that said, let's get rid of all of these. Make sure you don't accidentally sell the Dark Longsword or the Chaos Broadsword. But otherwise, we can just get rid of everything. Alright. We almost got all of our souls back from all the infusion.
Welcome home, speak. Very well, then take.
And then we can spend the rest on levels. We're currently trying to get endurance up to 20 and vigor up to 25, which we've done. So one more in endurance, and then we get to move on to the next stage.
Farewell, Ashen Maid.
And now we return to the profaned capital. Oh yeah, and burn the undead bone shard. I think I just have the one. Yep. and we will attack the profaned capital, including a little bit of backtracking into Irithyll Dungeon next time. Until then, stay safe.